Welcome you guys. Today is session 2 of yoga, week 2. We did very basic poses last week. We're going to continue that. I'm adding a little bit of challenge in there just so you guys start to feel a little bit of burn, a little bit of movement forward, but we're still not going very deep. So we're always modifying to our specific limitations, or if there's extra flexibility or you have extra expectations that you want to achieve, those are available as well. So, starting in down dog, I have my yoga mat block always, just in case, spreading the fingers out. And last week we talked about the length of down dog, so it's the length of your plank position, and then lifting the hips up. Take about 8 breaths here. I like to bend a knee and sort of get into that back calf, hamstring. Breath is always in and out through the nose. Straighten the legs for a couple more breaths. On your next inhale, I want you to come forward to plank position. Inhale. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come to plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale. Just keep going through that. Just warming the body up. Last one, you're coming to plank. And this is optional. You can hold this a little bit longer if you feel the need to. Again, this is modified, so we're just going for a little touch point. We just want to feel warm through the body. And then take downward facing dog. Step your feet all the way together. Right leg stretches behind you. We're holding this. Trying to press hands down, lengthen the body, try to lift the leg as high as you can. Lowering the right leg on your exhale. Inhale, left leg goes up. And it's important that you look back. Toes are all pointing straight down. That ensures the hip is square. Try to steady the breath. Lowering the left leg on your exhale. Separate the feet a little bit wider than your hips. And then drop the knees. If you need to take child's pose, take a couple rounds of breath here. Maybe let the forehead fall to the ground. And then coming back up. Hands and knees. Knees are right underneath my hips. Back is flat. Belly is drawing in. And you can stay here on the knees. I like to walk my knees a little bit further back, so I'm more in a modified plank position, and then lift the feet up off of your mat. Other option is to curl the toes and to be in full plank position. So your choice. I'm going to start on the knees. And you're coming up onto your right fingertips. Okay, and you're going to stay on the right fingertips. Take a couple of breaths. Feel the activation of that left arm. And then slowly set it down. Pick up the left. Feel the activation of that right arm. And if we're hypermobile through that elbow, take a little bend into the elbow. Flatten the left hand. Now lift up the right knee or the right foot. Set it down. Lift up left knee or left foot. Set it down. And then drop the knees or just walk the knees in. We're going to do that one more time. If you feel like you want a little bit more from it, maybe come to plank. If you liked where that was and you felt like it did enough for you, then stay right there. Right fingertips. Feeling that activation of the left arm. Set it down. Left fingertips acting into that right arm. Feeling the extra work it gets. Down. Lift the right foot up. Down. Lift the left foot up. Down. And then lower all the way onto your belly. So however you want to get there. So low cobra to start. Hands are right next to the base of your ribs. Okay. Thumbs would be grazing if you're a woman, a bra strap. And then spread the fingers, squeeze the elbows, lift the chest. Knees are lifted, top of your toes pressing down. Top of the foot pressing down. We're going to put a little bit more work into the arms. Press the hands down, lift the chest. Get a deeper back bend through the upper back. Your toes, lifting your body to downward facing dog. Look forward to the top of your mat. Step to the top of your mat. Big step with the right foot, left foot can follow. And we're starting in a forward fold. And typically when we go into forward folds, most people like to straighten their legs and then make the back sort of do all the work. And that's not really fair because the tightest muscle we probably have is more through the hips, through the hamstrings. So it's better if we bend the knees, okay, so that my knees give room so that thighs are now touching the belly. Okay, and some of you might be a little bit lower down, that's fine. But the important thing is that when I let my head fall down, then I can rock some weight into my toes, deepening the stretch through the belly of the hamstring, the tightest part of the muscle, and then try to lift the hips any amount higher. So we're going for quality stretch over just a stretch without awareness. And then you can come halfway up, get a little bit of relief, maybe flatten the back. That might be hands to the shins, hands to the thighs. Fold back down just for a breath. And then stand all the way up. All right, shake it out. We're going into pose number 2. Okay. Feet are all the way together. Right leg will lift up. And I'm going to grab right underneath the knee, interlace my fingers, thumb included. Stand all the way up. Try to pull that knee into my chest. And I'm working here on balance, so I'm trying to get that knee as high as it will go up. But also I have to work this standing leg. Okay? I want you to release that and try to just hover the leg right at the height of the hip with hands to the hips. Okay? We're going to combine this into the third exercise today. So I'm going to then take my knee, even it out, reach behind with the right hand, grab to the inside of the foot. I'm going to lean forward just a couple of inches, working that standing leg. You should feel it burning. Little bend through the leg, right? Especially when we're starting out. Feel the activation, the muscles turning on. And then I want you to try to kick your foot into your hand and open the chest. We have to breathe more into the front of our lungs. I want you to take the left arm up by your ear. And then release it. Shake it out. Going back. Left knee lifts up. Interlace the fingers. Hug the knee towards the chest. And if you fall out, that's okay. Now try to float the leg, hands to the hips. Okay, if you're trying to work on increasing your balance, maybe you don't feel strong enough to connect these two poses, try to hold this position a little bit longer. Then you can set the foot down, shake it out. But when you're ready, go right into the left side. Knee to knee, left hand reaches back, inside of the foot. Right to the arch of the foot. Right arm can go up by your ear. And then lean a couple inches forward, bend the standing leg. Try to kick your foot into the hand. Feel that deepening of the back bend. And I want to make sure I'm trying to square the shoulders off. Stand all the way up. And shake that up. So, turn and face side of the mat so you can see me still. Separating the legs. I want you to take your hands to your hips. So it's pretty far apart. You could actually measure out, so you want your feet directly under your wrists. Okay, so it's pretty wide. And then we're turning right foot out. Okay. So then my left hip slightly turns forward, right hip back. Okay? So if my right leg is 12 o'clock, then my hips would be facing almost about 10. Okay? Bend that right knee a lot. Okay? We're trying to get your hip even with the knee. We might not be there today. Okay? Once we feel good here, you can always separate the stance of your foot so you can move right foot over. Try to keep that left leg planted down. Okay, stay in that pose. Stretch the arms out to the side. We're gazing to the front hand, so that right hand. Try to find the middle finger. Take 3 breaths. Come to the hips, straighten the right leg, turn both feet in. Okay. If you need to shorten the stance a little bit, we're going back into a forward fold, this time with wide legs that are separated. Okay, and we're just doing the beginner version of this. It's Prasarita Padottanasana A. So hands are going to be right in line with the tips of our toes. Bending the knees, I want you to try to pull the chest forward, just like we did in the forward fold. Squeeze the elbows in, drop the head all the way down, and then try to lift the hips, straightening the legs. Inhale, come back up. By straightening the arms, take the hands to the hips, thumbs go to the back, fingers to the front. Inhale, come up with a flat back. We have one more side to do. Left foot turns out, so we're still facing the same direction. Widen the stance if you need to. Bending this left knee now. We're facing about 1 o'clock, maybe 2 o'clock. And then stretching the arms out to the side. Gazing towards that middle finger. Find that drishti. Good. And then for a little change of perspective, we're going to turn, face the other wall this time. Hands go down onto the mat, stepping that left foot back to meet the right, and then drop to the knees. Take child's pose. And we're trying to get our hips to the heels. So if this feels like it's too much and our hips were more like this, okay, then get a block, any height, okay, and try to then sit back on the block with that height. Maybe knees are tight, maybe you have a little bit less range of motion through the hips. Okay, you can also bend the elbows, but we're trying to get our chest to our thighs and forehead to the mat. Coming back up. That's your yoga session for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to add any of my other videos before you do this session. This is a great